Hi, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and we are still continuing with the supplement called Vitabiotics Wellzyme. So Vitabiotics Wellzyme is a very good supplement. Yesterday we looked at, in the previous video we looked at that it has about 15. About 15 digestive enzymes, and we saw that sometimes the body does not make the required enzymes that are needed in order for the body to break down the food and get the required nutrients necessary. So we looked at protease enzyme, amylase and amylase enzyme, and then we touched a bit on the lactase enzyme. So today we continue with some of the enzymes that are found in this supplement. The supplement is called Wellzyme. Vitabiotics Wellzyme. It's an advanced formula that contains very many digestive enzymes. So let's go ahead and look at glucoamylase enzyme, which is one of the enzymes that are contained in this supplement. So every day, the typical human being consumes large amounts of carbohydrate and starch. Whereas these carbohydrates have some nutritional value, they cannot be absorbed or digested without the help of enzymes. Like we said, the enzymes are responsible for digesting, absorbing and digesting the food. So yes, carbohydrates are needed by the body, but the body wouldn't use them unless they are enzymes to absorb and digest them. So glucoamylase is one of the several digestive. Remember amylase, the first one we looked at was amylase. So glucoamylase is one of the several digestive enzymes that can break down that starch or carbohydrates into glucose, which is the one that's usable by the body. Glucose helps us to get energy. The body needs glucose in order to produce energy and run very many processes in the body. So glucoamylase is one of those enzymes that helps to break down starch into glucose. Yeah. And this will make sure that we have smooth digestion of carbohydrates, and you don't have issues like heaviness, bloating, gas, and loose stools. So even that lethargic feeling, sometimes it's because carbohydrates are really not broken down properly. So what are some of the benefits of glucoamylase? It helps to relieve irritable bowel syndrome. So when glucoamylase is combined with other enzyme, it helps to overcome the negative effects of irritable bowel syndrome. So research was done on patients with IBS, and when they were given glucoamylase, they found that the bloating, the flatulence, and the fullness experienced by people who have irritable bowel syndrome, when they took glucoamylase, they found that this has significantly reduced. So if you have a client who has issues with bloating, flatness, and feeling full, it's a very good idea. Even amylase helps. Almost all the digestive enzymes helps with that. It's a very good thing to give them the Vitabiotics Wellzyme supplement. Okay. Then the other function is that it helps digestive system discomfort and gastrointestinal disease. So it helps to relieve the digestive system discomfort and then gastrointestinal diseases. The third one is it supports the immune system. Studies show that when you combine glucoamylase with other enzymes, it promotes the normal autoimmune reactions. So it will help for the antigens to work faster than they're supposed to have. So like we looked at protease enzyme yesterday, helping with the production of the natural killer cells. Now when we look at glucoamylase will help with the normal autoimmune response. Then it also helps to relieve pressure relieve the burden on other digestive organs. For example, the stomach, because it helps to digest the proteins, it will help to relieve the burden on other digestive organs. So that is the glucoamylase. So now we move on to another enzyme. So far we've looked at protease, we've looked at amylase, and we've looked at glucoamylase. Now the next enzyme we're looking at is the alpha galactosidase. The alpha galactosidase. So the alpha galactosidase, it targets nutrients that are composed of galactose. So alpha galactosidase targets nutrients that are composed of galactose. So what does alpha galactosidase do? So it helps to break down fiber. You know how fiber is. It helps to break down fibers. Example is galactomannan, polysaccharides, galactosides, and glycolipids. So it helps to break down fibers. For example, galactomannan, polysaccharides, galactosides, and glycolipids. Now, the amount of enzyme, the amount of alpha galactosidase declines with age. Even if any enzyme, actually, the amount declines with age. So you find that if you have an elderly person, someone 65 and above, they need to be on these digestive enzymes because the enzyme production declines, the amount of enzyme declines with age. So as the amount of enzyme declines, what happens? The different nutrients, instead of now being broken down by the enzymes, they are degraded by the intestinal bacteria. So you find that because of reduced alpha galactosidase enzyme in an elderly person, the different nutrients are now, instead the intestinal bacteria will be the one acting on the fiber. So when the intestinal bacteria is the one acting on the fiber, it will lead to a greater production of gas, and this gas is then responsible for pain and bloating in the stomach. So what will happen is that when you give someone a supplement that contains galactosidase, for example, the Vitabiotics Wellzyme, you're reducing that incidence of gas production and therefore the pain and bloating. Because when the enzymes reduce, what the intestinal bacteria do is now start doing the work that the enzymes are supposed to be doing. So they start breaking down those fibers, those foods, break down the fibers, the carbohydrates and by themselves. And this leads, because bacteria is the one acting on the food, it will lead to production of gas, which gas is responsible for pain and bloating. Okay. Then alpha galactosidase is also responsible for absorption of carbohydrates. So it is very important for the absorption of carbohydrates, very important in prevention of bloating and stomach pain, because it helps to work on the fiber, which would have otherwise been worked on by the intestinal bacteria, which intestinal bacteria will cause issues. Then the next enzyme we're looking at is the lipase enzyme. I like the way lipase sounds, the lipase enzyme. So lipase enzyme is an enzyme in the body. It used to break fats into fats so that they can be absorbed by the body. So the lipase helps to break down fats so that they can be absorbed in the intestines. So lipase is produced in the pancreas, the mouth, and the stomach. So most people produce enough levels of pancreatic lipase, but people with celiac disease, cystic fibrosis, Crohn's disease will not have enough lipase. So yes, whereas most people have enough levels of pancreatic lipase, but people with Crohn's disease, people with cystic fibrosis, people with celiac disease will not have enough lipase. So therefore, the people with celiac disease, Crohn's disease, and cystic fibrosis find lipase supplementation very, very helpful. So if you have someone who has Crohn's disease, really it's very good for them to have this Vitabiotic Wellzyme. So people who say they are allergic to gluten, those are some of the people who have celiac disease. So celiac disease is a condition in which gluten, usually from grain, that's why people say, I want gluten-free food. Celiac disease is a condition in which gluten damages the intestinal tract. So it's a condition in which gluten damages the intestinal tract. Some of the symptoms include abdominal pain, bloating, weight loss, and fatigue. a study was done as that when these people are given pancreatic lipase or the lipase supplements, these people who have allergies to gluten and all that, when they are given lipase, the symptoms actually reduce and they start gaining weight. Remember, celiac disease causes weight loss, but a study was done and people were given lipase and they started gaining weight. Remember, lipase enzyme is one that helps to break down fat for use by the body. So if fat is not broken down, it will just be passed out and it won't be used by the body. Okay. Then and another thing is that it will help reduce indigestion. It helps reduce bloating and fullness, like I told you. One of the symptoms of people who have gluten issues, they have bloating and what. And obviously, many people who have issues with digestive enzyme, one of the things they have is the pain, the bloating in the stomach, the nausea, and all those other, and loose stool or stool that has fat in it. Then we have the patients with cystic fibrosis. How does lipase help them? People with cystic fibrosis, they produce a thick. They have a condition. That condition, cystic fibrosis, makes them produce thick mucus. This thick mucus usually blocks pancreatic secretions, and therefore they are unable to get any pancreatic enzymes to come and digest the food. So they have abnormally thick, sticky mucus, and this mucus blocks pancreatic enzymes from getting into the intestines. So someone who has cystic fibrosis, it's very good for them to be on supplements that will introduce the pancreatic enzymes. Some of the pancreatic enzymes could be pancreatic lipase, lactase, some glucoamylase, and all those are pancreatic enzymes which are needed. So people with cystic fibrosis will usually have a deficiency of those enzymes, and you need those enzymes to break down the nutrients and for the body to absorb them. So now we go to the main one, which is lactase. So when you look at this Wellzyme, they even have, when you look at, they even say individuals who have difficulty digesting lactose take 3 to 4 capsules with every meal that contains lactose. Even on the cover, it shows that it includes lactase enzyme, which improves lactose digestion. One of the very good thing that this Vitabiotics Wellzyme is known for is in its ability to help in the digestion of lactose. So lactase is an enzyme that your body uses to digest lactose. Lactose is a sugar that's found in milk, cheese, all those things that have dairy. They have a casein that has that they have a sugar called lactose. Now, lactose, there are people who are born and they are unable to make enough lactase. Lactase is responsible for breaking down that sugar. If that lactose sugar is not broken down, you find these people get bloating, diarrhea, gas, and these are people who we call lactose intolerance. It's even in children. That's why you find that the milk for children that are lactose intolerant contains lactase. Or if a kid has a lot of lactose, one of the treatments they will give will have at least lactase enzyme as a supplement. So this is because lactase enzyme is needed to break down lactose. If lactose is not broken down, it will lead to those bloating, diarrhea, the nausea. You know how those lactose intolerant people be, and people be like, no, that's what, but no, it's a real condition. It's common in children, but some people do not outgrow it, and into adulthood they are still lactose intolerant. And there's a way people with lactose intolerance like trying dairy. So with dairy products. So with Vitabiotics Wellzyme, they are able to try the dairy products and still be able to have a functioning day without pain, without diarrhea and vomiting. So lactase will split the lactose into sugars, glucose and galactose, which are really the body needs to produce energy. So wait up for part 3 of Vitabiotics Wellzyme. We're almost getting done. It has 15 digestive enzymes. So far we've looked at We've looked at protease, we've looked at amylase, we've looked at glucoamylase, we've looked at alpha glycosidase, and we've looked at lipase, and then we've looked at also lactase. So we are remaining with nine of them, and we shall be 9 other enzymes. So it's a lot of information. It's a very good product. You need it if you have anyone who is elderly. If you're elderly, if you have, as long as someone is progressing in age, the levels of digestive enzymes being produced goes on reducing. Then there are people who are naturally born when they have, for example, who are lactose intolerant. For example, people with, okay, then there are other people who have celiac disease, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome. All these have issues with digestive enzymes. So visit any Vine pharmaceutical outlet near you, you'll be served. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.